Hey everyone, this is Corey with Stafford's EDC, and today I'm just going to be giving you a look at this beautiful custom slip joint here from Birdvis Knives. This is his Harper model with like a caramel micarta with red liners, red G10 liners. This was sent in to me to take a look at by Evan from Knife Ninja EDC. Evan is a good buddy, and he was kind enough, as I said, to send this guy in. See how beautiful this knife is. Really well done. Really nice fit and finish. I didn't carry or use this, just at his request. He is trying to sell this, so I will put a link to his Instagram down below where you guys can message him and chat with him if you are interested in buying this piece. This was built September 12th, 2022, or somewhere around that point. That is when this particular one was posted on Birdvis Knives Instagram, where this was sold at Blade Show West, which is where Evan bought it. Now I'm going to clean up the fingerprints here because this thing has a beautiful satin finish, and you can really see the fingerprints on it. So just forgive that as it picks up fingerprints here. We're going to do a little bit of a comparison and a little bit of talking about this piece. Now, I believe he uses CPM 154 as the blade steel. You can see there's just a very small transition there between the spring and the tang of the blade. So very nice fit and finish with the very consistent sanding lines there. And you can see how nice this grind is. You have pretty thin blade stock with a really nice swedge, and this is hollow ground, so this comes to an extremely thin edge. You know, it's very tough to do this edge justice. Just showing it to you like this, it terminates really well. There's plenty of sharpening choil. The plunge grind comes in down below it, and there's no flat spot at the bottom of the edge, which is always great. And you can probably see it in there a little bit, but these liners are jeweled. It's having a hard time picking it up, so let me bring my lights down here, see if we can catch this. It's really tough to catch it at the right light, but you can see on the inside there those reflections. That is the jeweled liners. So really cool, neat touch. Yeah, you can really see it there. Really neat touch. Just some extra level craftsmanship to get it looking like that. This is fairly small. You know, it's not, I shouldn't say that. It's a very, it's on the smaller side, but it's not tiny by any means. You can see I wear a large size glove, and this fits fine in my hand. And just to give you a little bit of comparison, let's bring in this Victorinox Cadet right here, which is the 84 millimeter model. You can see it's significantly larger than the Victorinox. Now I'll bring in the newest Jack Wolf knife. This is the low drag Jack. You can see it's very close in size to the low drag, just the low drag having slightly more handle. Sorry as I shake the camera there. Let's get this out of the way, and I will also grab you my GEC number 85, so you can see that for comparison. Very similar in size to the GEC overall. Nearly identical, as you can see. There's no specs or anything listed online, and there's no COA listing everything, so everything I'm giving you here, you know, measurement-wise, is just through the comparisons. I'm not going to take out calipers and give you crazy exact measurements or anything, but just wanted to showcase this beautiful piece. So you can see, in comparison to the other knives, it is a pretty good size. There's definitely more handle than blade. The blade to handle ratio isn't amazing, but I don't think it's ugly or anything like that. It's actually pretty proportional. And when this is in the closed position, which you can see, beautiful half stop there, you can see that there's really not much more blade that this knife can have. Perhaps if the handle shape was changed to maybe continue from here over, you could have like a 1/4 inch more blade, but then you have more handle anyway, so you really wouldn't be solving the issue presented there. But yeah, you can see, you know, you're taking up most of the handle space, So not really going to gain anything out of that. Now this does have a fairly light pull. I like a really snappy, fairly strong pull on my slip joints, just indicative of a strong back spring, something like the Jack Wolf knives. You know, this takes quite some effort to get open. You can really hear it snap open, and you can hear the snap to its halfway point. Whereas with the Birdvis, you'll hear it. It's definitely got great walk and talk, the sound of it closing. You know, it snaps to it, but it's pretty easy being able to do it with just the pointer finger and the thumb. Hopefully you could tell how much less effort that required just watching it. Now, something else I want to point out too is that Nick over at Birdvis does traditional construction for these. You can see like something on the Jack Wolf. There is hardware. There's T8 hardware, and then I believe a T10 pivot. And there is even more hardware underneath the scales here, holding your back spring in place. Now, of course, that's not traditional. A traditional knife, just like the GEC here, has pinned construction. And there is a pin for the pivot, but that tends to get polished out and buffed in, so you can't see the transition there between the bolster and the pin. You know, it is there. It's not being hidden or anything like that, but it is just really well finished, so you can't see it. And then you have knives like the Victorinox where you can see all the pins that hold everything in place. So looking at the Birdvis, you can see it is pinned construction. Now this pivot is, I don't know if it was not quite finished all the way, but it's slightly like a bird's eye pivot, which is meaning you can see there's the inner material there. You see how there's two rings? There's a smaller ring inside of the whole pivot. That's referred to as a bird's eye pivot. Typically you'd see two different materials, so I don't know if this was just a subtle bird's eye that he did, or if it was unintentional, if it just wasn't quite finished up to, you know, completely being hidden. It's more obvious on camera than it is in person. You have to really look at it at the right angle, and this side is totally polished. You can't tell at all that there's a second piece of material in there. You know, it does not show up in any angle, so I'm guessing it's just the finish on that side. I didn't quite get it. You can see where the hand sanding lines, maybe you won't be able to see it because of the polish, but you can see the lines on the pivot, and as well as these other pins are all going in the north and south direction, so to speak. Whereas this, there are still some scratches going to the side, and just a little bit on the shield as well here. But the pins down here are going north to south as well. So I'm guessing it was just a little area where it wasn't quite polished perfectly, but still very, very minor detail. As I said, centering is great on this. Walk and talk is nice and solid. The ergos are pretty good. This is like a reverse of a gun stock pattern, whereas typically you'd see this part down at the bottom. It's kind of reversed. Geez, I stumbled over the word reverse there pretty hard. But regardless, it still makes for a pretty comfortable grip here. Not that you're going to be hard using a slip joint like this anyway. You might be cutting an apple or maybe breaking down cardboard with it or something like that, but overall, you're really not going to be using this for anything crazy. So ergos aren't really going to be a problem, especially if you have slightly smaller hands than I do. I think you'd find this very comfortable. If you had littler hands than I do, and you were more so up here and it wasn't like squeezing your fingers together. But regardless, even going down here, I find this to be pretty comfortable, letting my pinky hang off 3 fingers on this. And yeah, it's overall just a really cool knife, and I really appreciate Evan sending this my way to look at, and I'm glad I can show you guys Birdvis's work here, just because I feel like you don't see a whole lot about it. His stuff sells out pretty much instantly when it's available on the website. He does have a Hitchcock available right now as I'm recording this. That is $900 from his site. I'm not sure what Evan paid for this at Blade Show, but presumably around that $900 mark. These are really well made, and if you are into custom slip joints, this is certainly one that I think you should have your eye on. So if you're interested in this particular one, please contact Evan down below. He is knife_ninja_EDC on Instagram, and I will put a link there as well. And yeah, you can keep an eye on Birdvis's page as well, so I will put a link to that in the description. Yeah, that's about it. Just beautiful materials, beautiful work, great walk and talk, and just some nice little details with this thing here. And it comes with a nice box too. I feel like I should mention that. Comes with a nice Birdvis box where it's just padded on the inside with some foam. But nevertheless, thank you guys again so much for watching. And again, if you're interested, please contact Evan. And that will be it from me today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks again to Evan for sending this along. And have a great rest of your day. Take care.